When you're thinking about your marketing strategy, one of the key things that lots of businesses tend to forget is that once you've given your customers a compelling reason to buy, we think that's the end of the journey. And of course, forget to give them a compelling reason to stay. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, as a business, you can transform your position financially by having customers who have already bought with you to be sticking with you through loyalty and paying time and time again for either a repeat product or more products within the suite of products or services that you supply. So the key thing here is to think about how your strategy can include an ongoing aftercare strategy that gives your customers that compelling reason to stay, so that it differentiates you from your competitors. So what can you do in your business for each of your customers, even if they've already been in your business for some time, that makes them feel special? What makes them feel like they've got extra value from you? Think about something easy, something that you could do that doesn't have to necessarily cost the business a cent. It's just something that you can do that makes them feel a certain experience with your brand once again, making this another great touch point with your business and reminding them that there's something that you can do to help them further. I'm Miles from How to Build a Brand. Hopefully that's been one great little tip for you. I'll be back very soon with another. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to your daily branding tips. Now, I was talking to a very good friend, client and brand accelerator on our program last night, Val Plummer. Hello Val, if you're watching this video. And if you, like Val, are creating a business and a life of freedom for yourself by doing what you love, then I just wanted to let you know how inspired I am by Val. And there's a system that Val has called Start from the Heart. And I thoroughly endorse it, because I meet too many people that are in business for the money, and they have very financial values, and they sell. And I see quite a lot of them on stage, and they sell well. But then you see the amount of refunds that have to go out because of buyer's remorse at the back of the room, like they've bought into something, feel like they were sold to. And I really do believe that comes down a lot to the values of the person who's running that organization, and also the intention to serve rather than sell. So there are a lot of things that people that sell products or services in their business, and they do it because they want to make money. But ultimately, the most successful people I know in business, they are serving rather than selling, and they're automatically making a lot more money because they are serving in a bigger way, and they're giving their customers exactly what they want. And when you start from the heart, which is what Val talks about, you know, you create a business that you love, that inspires you, it inspires others, and you naturally become wealthy, not just from a financial point of view either. You feel wealthy in all the areas of your life, your health, your lifestyle, and the friends that you have around you. You naturally attract a different kind of people. And so, yeah, if you're not doing what you love, then start from the heart, get back to basics, and think about what is it that you really love, and who do you love working with? Start there. Start from the heart. So there you go. Thank you, Val, for that brilliant insight last night, and I hope that that's inspired you in some way. If you've got any questions, do pop them below this video. We'll make a video for you, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/how to build a brand, and you'll make sure that you never miss one of our valuable tips again. Take care, and I will see you very soon.
Hello and welcome to your Brand Expert Tips. Now today's question comes in from a lovely lady, Judy, who's in business for herself, and she was asking us how she can position her brand in such a way that she is the market leader and the go-to expert in her industry. Now, when we started asking her questions about some of the things that she did that made her the best, she felt uncomfortable to say that she was the best, that what she had was the best quality service on offer. So we asked them a couple more searching questions, which I think would be really useful for you to think about too. What we said to her, Judy, was, What makes you the best at what you do? What is it about the service you provide that makes the current customers you have come back for more? And the ultimate question, what is it about what you do and about you yourself, your brand, that makes it that people should come to you before they consider any other of your competitors? Now, once we got those answers out, it was amazing, transformational about how she then perceived herself. So what came out of this was that she didn't feel comfortable in her own self to say that she was the best because she never really asked those questions of herself. Now, what I would give you as great advice is, if you're in a position where you're wondering, branding, is it truth or lies? The truth is it's neither. It's about positioning. Brand and what people say about you is what is actually true. Because let's think about this. If you went to a fantastic restaurant and you wanted to tell everyone about it, is it truth or is it lie? Or is it just your opinion? Well, that's what you want your customers to be doing. They want to have such a great experience with you that when they speak about your brand, it's not about truth or lies. It's about what they found, what they experienced, and why the people they're speaking to, their friends, their colleagues, their associates, why they should choose you as the go-to expert as well. So ask yourself those 3 questions and find out what you truly believe about yourself. Ask the questions to the current customers that you have to find out what they truly believe, and use that as the positioning to put yourself out there as the expert, the go-to person in your industry as well. That's today's tip. I'll be back with some more very, very soon. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to your Branding Advice Centre at How to Build a Brand. Now, today's advice is about referrals and how important they are to your business and how you can get more. Now, when we think about referrals, we really are referring to the big term, the word of mouth, that helps business get more business through the word of mouth of people who've experienced or heard of the experience of your product or service, right? Okay, well, let's look at referrals and how valuable they are. Because one thing you really want to do is work out what is your CLV, your client or customer lifetime value. Because then you could find out how much a referral is really worth to you. Because in truth, if you get this right, it doesn't necessarily have to cost you anything or very little at all, just to get people giving their word of mouth out to a wider audience than they are right now. So, if you were to think about every single customer that you have, or in your mind, if you're a new business, the amount of customers that you want to have in a given period of time, think about if each one of those just found you one more customer, just one. Imagine what that would do to your business. Imagine then that if those people again found just one customer each, that because they were talking about your business and actually proactively referring you to somebody else for what you provide. Now think of the numbers. And as you can imagine, basically you get this right, it can go viral. And that's how you can do this in person with word of mouth. But of course, word of mouth doesn't always have to be just in person. That's the great thing about this. It can be through social media where people start talking about what you've done for them with such passion and such belief that of course the people they were listening to are going to think, my God, I've got to check this out. And that's what's amazing about word of mouth. So think about the CLV, the customer or client lifetime value to your business, and you can work out how valuable just one referral from each one of those is. Now, how can you possibly incentivize people to give referrals, to spread that word of mouth that little bit further than they would otherwise normally do? Because when we think about it, if you've been to a good restaurant or you've watched a good film, When it comes up in conversation, you really do avidly express just how fantastic that was and why they should go at their next opportunity, right? It's like you're selling the restaurant for the restaurant. You're selling the film for the director and the producer. It's amazing what effect that can have. And you can have your customers doing that too, if you incentivize them. And that might mean that thinking about a reward scheme that you might have for referrals. Because if you think about that value that we talked about before, the value of one referral to your business, the cost normally to get that one customer out, we're not using word of mouth or referrals. Imagine what you could possibly do to get that business in through word of mouth by giving great rewards. And it doesn't have to be a massive reward necessarily, but it just gives them something enough to make them think, well, if I give this referral and I manage to get somebody else involved in taking on this product or service, then I might get something extra. That's what they're thinking, and that's what your customers could be thinking too. So think about what you do as a business, be it whether you're product driven or service driven, and think about what it is you could add as extra value to your current customers if they give a referral. And it could be just something they're not getting now, something that doesn't cost anything to deliver but is of great value to them, or it could be a bonus product or a bonus service that when you think about the cost of delivering that service is far outweighed by the value of a new customer coming on board to buy a service from you as well. Yeah, so think about what it is that you have that's of great value to your customers right now, so that they could refer you with far more passion and be far more incentivized to do so. It will make a massive difference to your bottom line. So that's the advice for today about how you can incentivize people to give more referrals, spread that word of mouth, get it going more viral so that you can start building your business, spending much less money, much less time, and it's just based on the experience that you give your customers. That's today's tip, and you can come and get some more tips on our Branding Advice Centre, both on this website at howtobuildabrand.org in our blog, and you can also find daily tips that we provide on facebook.com/brand expert tips. And we also have a whole host of videos with all sorts of advice on how you can build your business with small business marketing advice, branding strategy advice, and things that you can do to build your brand to become the market leader of your industry. And those are on youtube.com/howtobuildabrand. I hope you've enjoyed today's advice. Do go use it. It's so easy to do. You could even go ask your customers what they would value more and what would make them refer you to more people. I'll be back with some more tips very, very soon. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to today's training on the 5 myths that are holding you back from building your brand using video. Now, if you're watching this video, it's more than likely that you've seen me on 1 video, 2 videos, 100 videos. We've got hundreds of videos on YouTube, so it's likely that you've seen many of the videos that we've done. And I'm a massive advocate of video. I cannot tell you how much it changed our business when we started to use video to build our brand. Now, I am not a video expert. I just use video as one of the vehicles to build our brand and build our business. So I have spoken to one of the world's most amazing experts in video creation and marketing. And what I love about this person that I'm going to introduce to you is they've done it almost the same way as myself. I love the way that they started doing this for themselves, got great results, started doing it even more, got even better results, and have really built up their client base. They've built up their expertise. And whereas I do many things, this is the thing that they absolutely focus on. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Dawn Andrews, who I met in the States when I was over in the States earlier this year. And we just clicked and we just have the same values, and she's completely aligned to the way I feel about building a brand. So it's an absolute pleasure to work with Dawn. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you over to this absolute Hollywood superstar, Dawn Andrews. Dawn, hello.
Hello! I'm so delighted to be here with you, Sammy, and I feel the same way about you. I just was overjoyed to have met you. You are such a sparkly, lovely, and super smart personality and lovely person, and it's just a pleasure to be here with you today and to talk to you about this stuff. This is good stuff.
So, listen, Dawn, what most fascinated me was when we were having that chat about the things that hold people back from video. And I can totally associate with them, because it held me back too, you know, the main things really, which is why we've chosen 5, you know, what are the barriers that stop people? And I get every single one, like what you look like on video, where do you get your content from, how do you know what to say, am I looking professional enough, what equipment do I use, you know, all the main things. And I just, tell us, what do you do first of all? Tell us more about your business, and then let us know how we can start using this to really build our brand.
Sure. So my business, I'm a Hollywood business strategist, and I help entertainment companies here in Los Angeles, New York, and in the world build their businesses. And then my passion is helping small business owners access the power of video and leverage it to build their brands and build their businesses, because I feel like the world has all finally caught up with the technology and business and being able to communicate and work in social media in a way that it hadn't before. It used to be that video cost $10,000 to go into a studio, shoot a 2-minute video, it was done, and that was it. And there was just no democracy about it. And now we all have a phone in our hands and we can do it. And so I've created Video Diva and Video Diva Bootcamp to really teach people how to use video in their businesses, and most specifically to break through these barriers that we're talking about today. So these are the 5 things that I see, and you mentioned some of them before. People feel like it's too complicated, like that it's just too big a piece to bite off, the technology's too difficult, or they feel like they don't know what to say, like where does their content come from, or how do they shape their conversations. They feel like they ramble, or they're boring, or they're too high energy and they're not really sure how to contain themselves. A lot of people are very concerned about what they look like on video, because we've grown up looking at video in a different way than what it really has become now. And so I'll dispel that myth when we're talking today. People also worry about the tech itself, like literally how do I use a camera, or what do I need to buy, or how can I make something that looks professional. And then the last part that I think stumps people is how to finish your videos and then get them out there, like how to share them and where to put them.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I think stop people from really getting in the game, and all of them are really easy hurdles to jump. And I'm hoping that we can do that in our conversation today to really get people out there and get them moving.
Yeah, and they are literally, they're manufactured in our head, aren't they? Because it's like, oh no, I can't. My mum is a classic example. I mean, I was trying to get her out into a pottery studio, filming her making things, because other people would like to make them and she could create tutorials. And I was saying, come on, we need to get in the studio. Oh, I haven't got the equipment. I haven't got a tripod. I haven't got a microphone. So I bought her all 3 of those things last Christmas. And she had no excuse. And even so, she still wouldn't go into the studio. I went in with her and I showed her how easy it was. And now I can't get her out of the damn studio. Every time I go over, I'm like, is she filming? Is she?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So like once you start, you actually can't stop, can you?
Nope. It really is like popping a bubble. So the first time you sit down and look at a camera, so let's just take that myth first, right? That I don't have a camera face. Some people have even told me, oh, I have a voice for radio, but not a face for television. Which I think I can understand where that comes from. I am compassionate to it. However, there are so many lovely and different types of people in the world, and because of the democracy of cameras being available now, people want to see uniqueness. Like, you're in the business of building brands. To me, there is no better logo than this, because nobody else has it.
No.
Your face is so unique. Your voice and what you choose to share is so unique that I can understand the hesitancy to get on camera, but just jump in front of the lens, You don't even have to tell anybody you're doing it. Just turn your camera on, take a few selfie videos, turn your webcam on, just give it a few tries and practice. And one of the things that we do inside Video Diva Bootcamp is just have people do that 20 videos in a row. So 20 minutes, 1 minute at a time. And it's just like building a muscle. It's like going to the gym. Hop in front of the camera and you start to desensitize yourself to that, oh my gosh, my head looks really big, or wow, my nose looks different than I thought, or, my voice sounds funny. You just get over the hump.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's another one of the key things, isn't it? It's, what do I look like when I'm on camera? And I think, I remember one of our clients before, we were talking about this actually, and he said, I hate my voice. It's like, well, you hate your voice. That's your own perception of what you sound like. Nobody else thinks that. So you're being really selfish by not getting your message out to people that you can help just because you don't like your voice. It's not a good enough reason for you not to get on camera.
Precisely. And there just is no better way to reach out and talk to people and reach a number of people. One of the things I remember when I first started my business, Sammy, was this really wasn't a possibility in the way that it is now. I put 1,000 miles on my car within the first 3 months of starting my business because I was driving to networking events, to opportunities to speak to. If there was an envelope being opened, I would be there for it. It didn't matter what it was. And you can replicate yourself on video in a hot minute. So my first invitation with that first myth is that you're not camera ready, or that you shouldn't be on camera, or you don't look the way you think you should, is just spend some time in front of the camera and pop that bubble. Make yourself more comfortable and know that it will shift. It will change. Have faith that your level of comfort will open up, and then you'll turn into a camera hog like the rest of us.
Yes. Right, so take us to myth 2.
So myth 2 is that you need to be highly technical, or that it takes a lot of equipment. So you can get started with videos, especially if you're in using modern day laptops. They have cameras built in, they have microphones built in. You can get a really simple basic video done with the laptop you have in your hand or the phone you have in your hand. If you want to take it up a notch, you can get a better quality webcam or a better quality microphone. But the main thing is that you have a camera, some way to record it, and then some level of lighting. So as you can see, I have all the windows open in my studio right now. So I don't have any fancy lighting equipment on. I just happen to be in a room at a time of day where there's a lot of light so people can see my face.
Yeah.
And that is it. And then you just press the record button. If you can learn to send an email, you can learn to use that recording equipment that's already built into your phone or into your laptop.
Yeah.
So you don't need the fancy stuff.
No, and even when you buy equipment, I mean, we've spent hundreds, well, probably thousands by now, actually, on different camera equipment. Because like you say, years ago, it was really expensive. But now, if you've got a camera on your phone and you can just get hold of it, I mean, we've got an iPhone, and we just use a little iMic. It's got a great little camera. You just put it in. It looks like a little retro thing. You stick it in the speakerphone thing. It cuts out any of the background noise, so it's focused on your voice. And I walk the dogs. I have that all the time. I just walk along with it, and I create videos as I'm walking the dogs. People ask questions on Facebook. I answer those questions. So it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the more perfect we've tried to make our video, the less interaction we've had, which is interesting.
I agree, because here's the thing. For most of us, we're talking to our tribe. We're building an audience that's interested in what we're doing. They just want to see us. They don't want to see the polished, perfect, pretty, in the studio, entertainment tonight kind of post. They want to know what you are like and how to connect with you so that they can know, like, trust, and engage with you and work with you.
Well, they want real, don't they?
Right? You walking your dogs, it's just reality. People want to learn from other people that are like them but have a different level of expertise in something.
Yeah.
And it makes you highly accessible to just grab that camera and go.
So you literally can just get your device out of your pocket and bish bash bosh.
Just do it. Just do it.
And you can even upload it straight from your phone as well, can't you?
Yes.
YouTube, you can just zip.
Straight to a Facebook page or a Facebook group. And you can begin building your brand just with that simple Facebook group, your phone, and then sending your videos and your thoughts directly to that.
Well, it's like webinar. We started delivering webinars to our community first, and that built our confidence up. And now we're quite happy to deliver webinars worldwide. But like you say, it's like building a muscle. You just start doing it with people that you know first. So you're getting good feedback, and you're getting it from people that you know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
So that will give you confidence to move on to the next stage. What's the next myth?
Well, what do you say? Right?
What if I get halfway through and I forget what I'm going to say? Or what if I don't know where to start?
Encounter that?
Yes, absolutely.
That's where you're like...
Yep. And you know, I found that when I was trying to read from a script, that's when I was getting stuck. It's when it comes from the heart, it just flows out.
So one of the things that we talk about in boot camp, and that we'll be talking about on our webinar, is how to talk to people, or how to talk to people through the camera so that they understand who you are and buy from you.
Yeah.
And in the boot camp, we talk about this as well, is that it's that beautiful combination of your expertise and your knowledge, which, whether you realize it or not, it's there at a moment's notice. All somebody needs to do is give you a quick prompt, and you can start sharing, and you'll speak deeply on your topic. The part that you need the support around is how you wrap around that, like what the topic is or the purpose of what you're doing is. And once you have those pieces, then you pretty much have your entire script done, because each piece of your content is going to connect back to something else.
Yeah.
So if you're in a conversation with your team, with your tribe, about what it is that you are trying to help them learn to do, you already actually have the steps in the content. You just need what we call the wrapper.
Yes.
And wrapper is usually a sentence at the beginning to give them context and a sentence at the end to wrap up the bullet points. And there you've got what you need to say. It can be that simple, but because we're confronted by that lens, we're like, in the headlights, you know?
One of the things that really helped me when I first got started was I went onto LinkedIn and I found a picture of my ideal customer, printed it out and stuck it on the wall behind the camera. And I just imagined that I was giving that person advice as if we were just sat on the sofa and they'd asked me that question. So I found that a lot easier. It removed the barrier of, oh my God, I'm talking to nothing.
It can make such a difference. And if it really is a block for you, then grab a friend. You know, you and I are having a Skype conversation.
Yeah.
Have a conversation on Skype, do a Google Hangout, but get a person that you can interact with so that you can start to melt that resistance.
Yeah, perfect. Myth number 4. Are we on 4 already?
Yes. So let's see. We talked about I got lost, Sammy.
We've talked about technology.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about getting over the fear of being on camera and looking professional.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just discussed knowing what to say.
And to say.
That's how organic this is. We've just literally jumped on Skype. We haven't thought about this too much. Yeah. But we're just having a conversation and it's fascinating. Yes.
Okay, so what to do on camera. So I think one of the things that hangs people up too is that they do a lot of comparing. So they look at the gurus who have spent, and I kid you not, when you look at some of these very high-end people like an Anthony Robbins or Lisa Sasevich or, Laurel Langmeyer, they do have entire crews, lighting crews, studios, things that they've used to create these videos that you see, especially when they're related to larger programs. And so we look at that and we think that we need to be able to deliver on that level or we shouldn't do it at all. And what I want to share with you is that what you need to do on camera is just look at the camera and talk to your people. That's really all you need to do. And keep your messages short and simple. So usually if you can focus on about a minute at a time to share, and you'll find that there's a natural kind of break in progression of your conversation. So keep it short and just connect it with your people through the lens. Just look them in the eye, so to speak.
Yeah.
That really is all you need to do at this beginning level of starting to build your brand using video.
Yeah, and I think what you said at the very beginning, where you said you used to go to networking after networking, you could literally spend all of your time networking somewhere with someone who will quite happily talk about talking. But then you get on video, you're saying something specific, you've got a tribe of people that are your network, and that network is continually building. You're going to increase your subscribers, you're going to increase the people that share the values and beliefs that you have, and that really care about the topic that you're speaking about. So what better way to talk one-to-one many times? You're not then, I can't even begin to count up the hours that I've spent. I haven't wasted those hours necessarily, but you know, I had a lot of one-to-one meetings for an hour or two sometimes. You got to travel there, you got to travel back. Videos, just like shoot it in your living room, and you only need to make sure your top half's covered.
Yeah, Carrie Roldan and I, who's a good friend and partner of mine on some of my projects, we have a game called What's on the Bottom. So here, let me just show you. Today it's orange shorts.
Yay!
Sometimes it's pajamas, sometimes yoga pants, sometimes I cannot mention it on live television.
It's not that kind of video.
Yes, I know, we're keeping it clean, people.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that is true, isn't it? You just literally, Miles has got his favourite shirt. He wears this shirt. Whenever he's on video, he has his favourite shirt on. So, you know, and I think that's another good anchoring point as well. If there's something you're wearing that makes you feel good, wear that when you get on video, and that'll anchor you into that state that you need to be in.
Just create that simple uniform that you know you can go to. Yeah. You know that everything's settled. Yeah,
make absolutely. It brand colour, of course. Obviously, brand colour. Get that one in there.
I love the tie-in. Yes.
Yeah. So, do we have a number 5?
Yes, number 5 is okay. So you've gotten over the fear. You've got whatever your comfortable outfit is. You're able to look at the camera. You have your content that you're sharing. You know how to turn it on and off and record. Then what? What do you do with it afterwards? How do you share it? Well, we talked about one way, which is to create some sort of Facebook group that you're driving people that you want to connect within your business to, and you share your videos there. But there are so many, I mean, video has exploded. This is the year of video, in my opinion. There are so many different methods and ways to share nowadays that you can create a YouTube channel. You can create an ongoing show or blog for your brand. You can broadcast daily and create a show on Periscope or Meerkat.
I love that actually, because it's live, isn't it? Completely live, and then you save it to your camera roll and upload it to all these places after. Right,
and it's the thing that's really fun about Periscope and Meerkat is that, to me, that's it's a slice of life moment. People really can, if they choose to follow you, it can be really compelling because they catch you in your day.
Yeah.
And it takes this, you know, really simple, down-to-earth video that we're talking about, and even to that next level where they're really experiencing it with you. Mm-hmm. And people want to feel that sense of connection and community, and it just really strengthens their bond with you.
Yeah.
And also deepens the conversation that they want to stay in with you. So there are just so many different ways that you can share it. And now, if you're sort of overcome by the technology of that, most cameras, most webcams, and most phones are already shooting at the proper resolution and level so that the videos show up nicely on the other end.
Yeah.
And the sharing technology already takes the guesswork out of that for you. So if that has been a concern for you in the past or has stopped you sharing, most of that has been automated now. And then in terms of editing, as long as you're keeping your conversation short, just be real. It's okay. Flub your lines. Don't worry about the perfect polish. You know, happens, as they say.
Bleep.
Yep. Just be you.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? It's just be yourself. And, you know, I mean, I've created videos before where the content, well, I think the content has been pretty good. And I've uploaded it. And as I've uploaded it, I've realised the wind's really blowing and it's cutting out your voice. And you're like, damn, I don't think I'd ever be able to recreate that piece of content, ever. And I've just put it up online and said, guys, I'm really sorry. There's a bit of wind turbulence or whatever here. But the content is really good, I promise you. And as long as I say that before I start, I don't get any comments whatsoever. And people still just enjoy the content. So, and that's like going beyond imperfect. I think like sound quality. Well, I think it brings back to
what you're saying too, Sammy, at the beginning, that most of this is in our heads.
Yeah.
Like if we just acknowledge the reality of what's going on, the reality that you and I are sitting here, we're each in our unique locations. We've got all kinds of camera equipment. We literally were pulling pieces and plugging and testing right before this. If you just acknowledge the reality, then people's minds will relax and they will focus back on you and focus on your content.
Yeah.
If you try to pretend that everything's perfect and I've got the great background and my orchid looks amazing and, you're focused just on the facade of it all, then that's also what your audience is going to focus on. So just give good content, connect it to something that's making a difference for people, and then really talk to them through the camera, and you're golden. It really can be that simple, and I want it to be that simple for people.
Awesome. So how can we make it even more simple? You've got something very exciting that you're launching.
Yes, I do. Okay, so on September 22nd, I am doing a live video webinar, a live training called How to Talk to the Camera So People Listen and Buy. And I want you all to come. It is a free webinar, free training. There's a live Q&A portion to it as well. So if you have specific challenges or questions that you want to get answered, I want you to come. And we're breaking down the key things that you need to know so that what you're sharing with people is compelling and either leads them into the deeper conversation with you or leads them to actually make a purchase because you're sharing on video.
Okay.
So that's happening September 22nd, and the link will be part of these videos. So you can just click the link and register.
Perfect. Oh, gosh. Well, that's only a few weeks away, isn't it? So we need to... Yeah. Well, actually, what is that, next week?
2 weeks away, I think.
2 weeks. Got 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that already you've got lots of people that are signed up to that, so...
Yes, jump in now.
Jump in now. Yeah, make sure you get your space. Well, Dawn, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so, so much. And I hope that we see more of you. We need to do more videos.
I think it'd be a blast. I would love the opportunity. Thank you.
Let's get it in the diary. And for those of you that are watching this video, send us your feedback. Send us your comments. What do you want us to do videos on in future? We'll make you some videos. What are your fears around video? How can you break those barriers that will help you to get out there and really build your brand? So, Dawn, thank you very much, and I'll see you later.
See ya.
Hello and welcome to your Branding Advice Centre with How to Build a Brand. Now today's advice has come in because we have been hearing a lot of people say that they're not happy with their website and they were advised by either a website designer, a website developer, or perhaps even within an agency. And it is something we hear about a lot, and we're here to help you as much as we can with some advice for your website when it comes to your brand and making sure you, first of all, maintain that solid, consistent branding that you've already created with your branding designer. Now, when it comes to the website, it is the visual elements that will have a huge impact just as much as what you say in the communication that you use to make sure that you convert as many people as you can into customers. And this will work whether you're a product website where it's converting to a direct sale, or if you're a service provider and effectively what you're trying to do is get people to take action, get in contact so you can start the relationship with them so that they can become a customer. So what visual elements are we actually talking about? And why is it such a big problem? Well, in truth, when you talk to a website developer who's not really a branding expert, they don't understand how important how something looks and how easy it is to access information that's going to make the difference between them staying around on your website or getting frustrated and leaving to find one of your competitors. And when you're talking to a designer, a general designer, they won't necessarily have the advice on how it's going to work online. In truth, the strategy for working online to the greatest effect for your brand needs a multitude of expertise elements. And that means that you've got to make sure what you say, how you communicate it, how it looks, how it's presented and how it's found is all these things make it up what is exactly needed for your website to get the greatest impact. So, some of the visual elements, here are some tips that you may not already get, and some of them are seemingly so simple, but that's the point. Some of the things are so simple we forget them, and it's the simple things that actually make the difference. You've heard they're saying that it's the little things that make the difference. Well, it is, and here's one of them. Many a time you may have gone to a website and you've looked around for the phone number or the email address or some way of contacting the company, but you can't find it. Yet the most obvious and easiest place to put it is at the top, in the top banner. So keeping that top banner fairly clutter-free, all you need in there really is your brand, so that you can see there's a consistency around the website. The top navigation, as we know, is you'll always be able to sort of get to what you need to in the website, but just put your number or your email address or a link to your contact page right there at the top. It'll make a massive difference. Second good point and tip here for the visual aspect of your website is images and the quality of them as well as the choice. Now, if you've been to a website looking for something, you've been to a couple of the competitors all providing the same thing, you might have found that they're all showing very similar photos. And it's because they've gone to Stock iPhoto, which is a website that provides images, or something else, or even Google Images, and they're all displaying the same image. And of course, the visual attraction of the website to take you in to start reading a page, if it's the same on somebody else's as another, then more than they're going to start thinking that the information's the same, or even they're even in the same place. And this could happen to you too. So one tip we have here about the images is to be selective. Try and get original ones if you can. Get your own done if possible. But if not, try and find some on a website like iStock that when you buy it, you can see how many people have used it, and when you purchase it, stop other people using it once you've got it. It might mean paying a bit more, but it means you have that individuality. The second tip around images is the quality. How often have you been to a website where you're trying to detect how good a product is, and you can't because the image when you zoom in is just pixelated or it's just poor quality, and it actually puts you off because if you can't see what you want to see in an image, you might just go elsewhere or just give up looking on the internet and just go to a local shop, in which case you're going to lose the business because it's on the internet that they came to find you. And I have done this many a time. Sometimes it could be from motorcycling equipment or clothing or furniture where the photo just isn't good enough and I just cannot make my mind up to make a decision on buying that product because I just can't trust what I'm seeing. Maybe you found that too. And when it comes to your customers, the last thing you want them to do is go away from your webpage because of an image. It's one of those things you can really take control of and make a difference. So there's your second tip. Make sure your images are of good quality and make sure that the images also are as unique as possible as you can make them. Tip number 3 for the visual aspects of your site is don't underestimate the power of white space. And what we mean is it's all very easy and very much a tendency website developers and website designers, by trying to make it look pretty, that they clutter the page so that you really cannot tell what you're trying to look for. And they make it difficult by putting so many things on a page you don't know where to start. Maybe you've been to a website before where you go to find something, and because there are so many things to look at, so many choices to make, you don't actually make a choice, you just get totally flustered with it and move on. Well, this is where you can make a massive difference on your website, because in truth they've come there to find possibly just one thing. And once they've made their mind up that that one thing is in the place that you provided it, they'll come to you. So here's a couple of tips on how to make sure you get that white space right. First of all, line spacing of your content, paragraph spacing of your content, the way that your bullet points are actually displayed. Make sure there's a nice spacing between those lines. Make sure the font is large enough as well so that it is a really easy read, both on a laptop or desktop device as well as a mobile device. It makes a massive difference. Make sure there's good spacing around the images and good margins between the content and other elements that appear as standard on the web page. So yeah, white space is a massive thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's white. It's depending on what colour your website is, the background is, it's the space that's around the features, the images, the videos, the content, the titles, and things like that that are on your page. Anything else that's on the website surrounding your content, make sure that's really clearly out of the way of what you're trying to get them to read, because that's where you're going to convert the most customers. So there's some three great tips on how you can, from a visual aspect point of view, really simple things that can make a massive difference to your business and how you build your brand online. So if you're confused about how you're being advised to put your website together, what's got to go where, what visual elements you should be using, then don't necessarily just trust what the branding agency you've seen is actually telling you. Come to How to Build a Brand, because we've got lots and lots of advice freely given on our Facebook page at facebook.com/brand expert tips and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/how to build a brand. And of course, if you come to our blog at howtobuildabrand.org, you're going to find a whole host of advice, and not just on website design and how you can employ the best visual aspects. There are a whole host of marketing strategies, branding advice, all sorts of things that you need, whether you're starting out as a new business, a growing business, or established business that just wants more sales or more interaction and more reaction from your prospects and customers. Hopefully you've enjoyed that tip today. I'll be back with some more fantastic tips for you in our Branding Advice Centre.
When you're building your business strategy, you need to think about where you're going to invest your money, because it stands to reason that if you create a successful brand strategy, you're going to have a lot of money coming into your business, and you need to make sure that you're putting that into the right places so that your money is making more money. Does that make sense? One of the worst things you could do is make more money in your business and then not be putting that into other investments that are helping you to make more money from it. Now, Miles and I, we really focus on investing our money in the right places to ensure that we've not only protected our business and our own futures, but also it helps us to protect our clients moving forward, because everything that we learn, we pass on to our customers. Now, we've just invested just short of $25,000 into our next level of education, into our next step. And I really would advise you that you think about what areas of your business and what areas of your education and development are you missing to help you grow your business from where you are now to where you want to be. And that's such an important thing for you to get right. Many businesses get this wrong because they don't invest in themselves, they don't invest in their future, and they don't invest in that next level of education. And it's really important that you think about, you're going to have a lot of strengths, otherwise you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. There will also be weaknesses in what you do that you know that you're doing in your business, but you're either not good at them, or you're not good at project managing them, or you're not doing them at all. And this could be holding your business back. And Miles and I, every 6 months we sit down and we look at where are our strengths, where are our weaknesses, who do we need to model, and who do we need as a mentor to make sure that we're constantly moving forward. And as I say, we've just invested a significant amount of money into the next stage of our education, because everything we learn, we're then able to give that back to our clients and customers. So if you haven't considered what your next step is for growing your business, one of the things I suggest that you do invest in is to make sure you're getting the right visibility to your business in the right ways, to the right audience at the right time, and that you've got the right message. It's so important that when you start to reach out to your ideal customers, that you're connecting with them and engaging them with the right message for your business. Because no amount of visibility you get for yourself, if you're not putting the right thing out there, is going to get you the right attention in the right way. Now, we've got some brand Kickstarter courses that are coming up, and they're usually in Heathrow. And it's where we spend the whole day with you just focusing on your brand visibility strategy. You'll come away with a 3-month plan of how to get in front of your ideal customers in the right way at the right times. And you'll also network with 19 other people in the room, because we keep the groups really small. We keep it to 20 so that we get a chance to get around all of you. And Miles and I give a one-to-one to every single person in the room to make sure that you've got exactly what you need to move forward and to create the next stages in your business. And of course, everything that we've learned over the last 18 years, we're then pouring that into what we're sharing with you when you're in the room and afterwards as well, because we have a group where we answer lots of questions and help to support you in that next stage of growth. So if you're interested, I'm going to pop the link with this video, and we very much hope to see you very soon on our next brand Kickstarter course. So take care, and if you've got any questions, do pop them below. Fundamentally, there are three things that you need to really focus on getting right before you move forward in your business. The first thing is your vision. It's so important that you have a clear vision so that you understand exactly which brand you're building and where it's going to land in the future so that we can work towards what is that. Otherwise, you could be paralyzing yourself by branding yourself as you are now instead of branding yourself as you are going to be. It's super important. The second thing is your values. Without understanding what values you really have, and I have to say that in every single brand audit that I've ever delivered, out of the three core values that people usually tell me they have, we usually change at least two of them in this 1 hour session. The reason why it's so important that you get those values right is not just because those values emanate everything that you're about and everything you stand for. Your top brand colors will be represented by those values. The color of the personality of your ideal customers, what kind of business you're in. The color will dramatically change depending on what your values are. Now, your number one core value is responsible for 85% of the color that you use for your brand and your branding. So it's essential that you get that right, because one shade out, and there are over 2,200 shades of color. One shade out could be the difference between attracting who you want to work with and totally repelling them. So it's super important you get your values right. And finally, the value that you deliver. It's essential that it is expressed in a way, using the values and the language of your values, that it's expressed in a way that you really can charge what you are worth. Hugely important, because there are elements of you that might not be charging what you're worth right now, or not charging what you could be. And that's why I love to do this 1 hour of power brand audit session. Now, it's called a brand audit, which would suggest that you have to have a brand to do an audit on, but that is not true. The whole point is assessing and auditing what brand it is that you want to build. What brand are you today, and what brand do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, a legacy, 100 years from now? What brand is that? We need to do a little audit on what that's going to be to make sure that what you're doing now is completely aligned and on path for the trajectory of your growth and success moving forward. That's why this hour of power is so essential to you, because we're going to work on all those things. The first thing that's going to happen when you click on the button below is it will take you through the process of getting signed up and getting it in my diary. So as soon as we get the notification the payment has been made, you'll be contacted by one of my team to get your audit booked into my diary as soon as possible, which can be within 5 to 10 days usually. So be prepared. Be prepared to really move your business forward in a fast way, but in a way that is sustainable. So that's the first thing that's going to happen, is to get your audit booked into my diary. So I'm going to personally spend that time with you. Now, I've built 7 of my own businesses. I've worked with thousands of business owners all around the world, and I help millions of people every year through our social and YouTube channels. So you really, to get this time one-to-one with both me and you working on your business, you're just going to fly. Honestly, I'm so excited about the amount of progress that you will make just by, instead of you taking 101 steps to get where you think you want to go, let's get where you really want to go in place and take 9 steps to get there. So you don't have to take the long way or the hard way to the success that you want. I'm a real straight talker as well, by the way, so there's no going to be no fluffing things up. This is not going to help my business to move forward, but this hour will absolutely help your business to move forward in a big way. So it's really important that we spend this time together and get it right first time. The other thing that's going to happen once you've already signed up for it and we've got your audit booked in, you're then going to receive a workbook. A very short workbook. Don't worry, it's not going to be a lot of work. It's just literally a 1-page workbook, but I want you to complete the answers to the questions that I ask you. So it's going to make our time together really productive when we're together on Skype or Zoom. So I use both of those technologies depending on which one's best for you. And I record the session, so you get a recording of it, which means you can go back, you can play it, you can stop, you can make notes, you can do all those things, because I really want you to have 100% concentration attention and full presence with me while we're on the call. I don't want you to have to worry about making tons of notes and things while we're together. I want you to be able to concentrate on what we're doing so you then go back and review it. So it goes up into a secure area of my website. No one else has the same password. So unless you decide to share it with somebody, no one else is going to see it. What I'm also going to do is once we've got your values absolutely defined, I'll be able to then tell you exactly which shades of color you need. And like I said, 85% of your brand color is responsible for that first core value. So we're going to look at what your number 2 and number 3 core values are as well. So you've got a full complementary scale of color, and I'll send you a document that has them all there for you. So again, you don't have to worry about writing it all down. I'm going to send you a PDF that's got it all on there for you, so you can take it to your printer, you can take it to your designer, you can take it to your web designer. It's all there to make sure you've got exactly what you need to move forward. We're going to uncover loads and loads of different things about your business, and I'll be able to share with you what your next best steps are. If there's any introductions that need to be made, I can give them to you. If there's anybody in my network that I feel is going to help you move forward, I'm going to share that with you. I don't hold anything back, and if you look at the testimonials below this video, or you speak to anybody that's ever had a brand audit with me, you'll find that there's I don't hold anything back, and it's not a sales call. It's all about your business and helping you to move forward, because guess what? My brand doesn't grow unless yours does. And the things that you go out and say positively about what I do and how I do it, that's what stops me having to spend any money on marketing. So it's my duty to make sure that you've got exactly what you need to be able to move forward. So there's loads of things you're going to get from this brand audit. I really, really hope that you and I are going to spend some time together. Let's click that button below. Let's get you started. Let's get you filling in that questionnaire. It takes me about half an hour to go through what you send me before we even jump on the call. So all in all, there's about 90 minutes of time that I'm spending working completely on your business. And I give you also a document that you can go away with, and you can plan in your first 4 weeks of activity based on the conversation that we have. So you'll come out with some content planning, and you'll come out with a strategy for what you need to do to move forward. So click on the button, let's get started, and be the brand that you want to see in the world.